Snow fell in restless waves against the dim glow of the city lights, turning the late evening into a blur of white and silver. Daniel had just finished a double shift at the auto repair shop, his hands still smelling faintly of engine oil despite the cold air biting at his skin. He pulled his worn jacket tighter as he approached the bus stop, his breath forming small clouds in the freezing night. That's when he saw her. She sat alone on the metal bench beneath the flickering shelter light, her thin coat no match for the storm. Her bare hands trembled, and her eyes stared straight ahead as if she were trying to disappear into the snowfall. For a moment, Daniel hesitated. The city had taught him to mind his business, to keep walking. But something about the way she shivered, silent, proud, and clearly struggling, made his chest tighten. Without overthinking it, he stepped closer. "You're going to freeze out here," he said gently. She looked up, startled, her blue eyes sharp yet exhausted. "I'm fine," she replied, though her voice betrayed her. Daniel didn't argue. He slipped off his thick jacket and draped it over her shoulders before she could protest. "I live 2 stops away." "I'll manage," he said with a small shrug, pretending the cold didn't already claw at him. She hesitated, then pulled the jacket closer around her, warmth spreading across her fragile frame. "Thank you," she whispered, her gaze softening in a way that caught him off guard. They stood in silence for a few seconds, snow collecting on his dark hair, until the bus headlights appeared in the distance. As it screeched to a halt, Daniel stepped back, giving her space to board first. She paused at the door, turned, and studied his face as though committing it to memory. "What's your name?" she asked. "Daniel," he replied. "Daniel," she repeated quietly, then nodded once before stepping inside. The doors closed, and the bus pulled away, leaving him alone in the storm. He didn't know why, but he felt strangely lighter walking home without his jacket, as if he'd done something that mattered. The next morning, Daniel arrived at work to find a sleek black car parked outside the shop, far too elegant for their modest garage. A sharply dressed assistant stepped out and asked for him by name. Confused, Daniel wiped his hands on a rag and approached. "Miss Carter would like to see you," the assistant said. "Who?" Daniel asked. But before he could process the answer, the back door of the car opened. The woman from the bus stop stepped out, no longer fragile and shivering, but poised, powerful, dressed in a tailored coat that probably cost more than his monthly salary. Her hair was perfectly styled, her posture confident. The transformation was so complete it stole the air from his lungs. "Good morning, Daniel," she said with a faint smile. "I believe you left something with me." She held out his jacket, freshly cleaned and neatly folded. His mind raced. You look different," he managed. She laughed softly. "Last night was not my usual evening." She introduced herself properly, Victoria Carter, CEO of one of the city's largest tech firms. Daniel had heard of the company. Everyone had. "Why were you at a bus stop?" he asked before he could stop himself. Her expression shifted, becoming more vulnerable. "Sometimes I take the bus home to remind myself of where I started. My father used to bring me to that exact stop when we had nothing." She paused, her eyes meeting his. "Last night, I wanted to remember humility. Instead, I found kindness." Daniel felt his face warm despite the cold. "It was just a jacket," he said awkwardly. "No," she corrected gently. "It was compassion. And that's rare." She explained that she had spent years building her empire, but somewhere along the way, she had grown surrounded by people who wanted something from her: contracts, money, status. No one offered anything without expecting a return. "You didn't know who I was," she said. "And you helped anyway." The assistant handed Daniel an envelope. Inside was an offer letter, an opportunity to train in her company's mechanical innovation division, a program designed to develop new talent. The salary listed made his head spin. "Why me?" he asked, stunned. Victoria smiled. "Because character matters more than resumes." Daniel looked at the busy garage behind him, at the life he had accepted as permanent. Fear whispered that he wasn't qualified, that this world wasn't for him. But something else, something stronger, reminded him of the night before. Sometimes all it took was one brave step in the cold to change everything. He met her gaze and nodded. "I won't waste it." As the car drove away, Daniel stood there holding more than just a job offer. He held proof that small acts of kindness echo farther than we can imagine. And maybe, just maybe, the world rewards those who give without expecting applause. If this story moved you, remember, one simple act can rewrite your destiny. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories that remind us kindness still wins in the end.